The Sun. Smooth and round and peaceful. Except when it suddenly vomits radiation and plasma in random directions. These solar flares and coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, can hit Earth and have serious consequences for humanity. Then there are coronal mass ejections, which rip millions or billions of tons of plasma from the Sun's atmosphere, catapulting it through the solar system at speeds of up to 9 million kilometers per hour. When these monsters hit us, nothing happens on Earth. While even smaller storms can damage satellites, affect radio communication, or be dangerous to astronauts, for people on the surface, space weather is harmless. Earth's atmosphere protects us from the worst effects of a solar flare by absorbing the blast of X-rays high up in the atmosphere, well before it reaches the surface. Sometimes there are hurricanes though, or in the case of the Sun, solar superstorms. And we know that they happen once or twice every century. When it arrives, it causes a shock wave that violently compresses the Earth's magnetic field and transfers energy into the magnetosphere. But it can get worse. If the magnetic field of the CME is aligned to Earth's in just the right way, the two magnetic fields merge. As the magnetic cloud passes over Earth, it stretches the Earth's field into a long tail. Eventually, the energy stored in the tail becomes too much to contain. It snaps and explosively releases its energy towards Earth. A geomagnetic storm has begun. A few hundred years ago, nobody would have cared. This storm gushing over the Earth is not relevant for machines made out of meat and bones. But it's very relevant for machines made out of metal and wire. Earth in the 21st century is covered in millions of kilometers of wires transporting electricity and a complex grid of machines like transformers that make this transfer possible. A CME's energy can induce currents in our power grid that can either completely shut it down or, worse, destroy the transformer stations that keep our grid running. This has happened already, like when the Quebec power grid failed after a strong solar storm in 1989. Studies projected that it would have inflicted serious damage to electronic systems globally, costing up to $2.6 trillion to the US alone. The time to replace all the damaged systems was estimated at between 4 and 10 years. It's hard to overstate how much we depend on electricity. It's not just the lights at home, it means no computers, no communication, no navigation. A sustained power outage might lead to a breakdown of the supply chain, water supply systems failing, and hospital generators running dry. Supermarkets not being refilled while food rots in the fields. The lack of power might make it extremely hard to reboot our broken power grid, taking years or decades to restart our starving civilization.